Дойче Думков, ты еще увидишь, как из-за твоей продажной глупости, Анна-Лена Бербок, Берлин будет гореть.
Надо как-то сделать так, чтобы американские солдаты начали гибнуть.
Да мы сотрем в порошок Варшаву и Вильнюс.
Почему мы признаем Францию в ее границах?
Как я хочу посмотреть, чтобы Урсулиха фон дер Ляля корчилась с куском беспилотника в глотке.
Когда на сегодняшний день мы говорим, что война будет безъядерной, мы, наверное, лукавим.
По количеству на душу населения, правда, Канада ее опережает, но Америка — это мировая держава победила.
Я сейчас требую спалить Берлин.
Welcome to another episode of Russian Hate Speech, where we break down the Kremlin's latest lies against the West. During the program Evening with Vladimir Solovyov on the Russian state channel Russia 1, host Vladimir Solovyov launched an attack on Estonian Prime Minister Kaja Kallas, resulting to personal insults and unfounded corruption accusations.
We understand why Kaja Kallas hates Russia so much, because it is her darkest secret. Her family made all their money off her husband's scam in Russia. If this even comes to light, it will become clear that Kaja Kallas violated all possible EU sanctions while making money. Isn't that how it was? But then, why did this issue suddenly disappear? So Kaja Kallas is just a regular scum, a corruption filth who, together with her husband, built schemes and stole from their own companies pretending to help them do business in Russia or exit the Russian market. If EU law enforcement worked honestly, Kaja Kallas would be in prison, right next to Ursula von der Leyen, who stole hundreds of millions, if not more, on vaccine procurement.
Solovyov's rhetoric is a textbook example of Kremlin's propaganda, turning European leadership into villains and branding them as corrupt simply because they support Ukraine. By personally attacking Kallas and von der Leyen, he aims to discredit European solidarity with Ukraine using conspiracy theories and hate speech. On 60 Minutes Special Edition, another state TV program on Russia 1, Olga Skabeyeva, a key propagandist, echoed Moscow's stance on Ukraine's territorial losses.
Russia's permanent representative Nebenzia said that EU and the UK are absolutely unreliable negotiating partners. They cannot be a party to any future agreements on Ukraine. Moscow's position remains unchanged. Kyiv has permanently lost DPR, LPR, Kherson and Zaporizhia regions.
This is a clear attempt to legitimize Russia's illegal occupation of Ukrainian territory. Skabeyeva and other Kremlin figures consistently push the narrative that Ukraine's internationally recognized borders no longer exist, seeking to undermine any peace efforts that do not accept Russian territorial expansion. During another episode of Evening with Vladimir Solovyov, the host promoted a dangerous narrative that Europe must abandon support for Ukraine for its own survival.
Europeans should ask themselves, what happens next? They can't close the border with Ukraine if they continue with this narrative. If they think Ukraine is a democratic, wonderful country, they will soon have 600, 700,000 combat experienced people at their doorstep with millions of weapons in their hands and open borders to Europe. The land is mined, destroyed, impoverished, and there is no work. Do they really think that those thugs who are used to robbing homes, killing civilians, and regularly mailing stolen goods back home from looted towns and villages will simply come down and say, "Thank you very much"? No, they will start grabbing German citizens by the throat. And they also have an ideology of nationalism. Of course, this will be violence on an unprecedented scale in Europe. Can you imagine European police forces being able to stop them? Just think about it. Do they understand how many terrorist attacks will spread across Europe using FPV drones? Or do they think that all those people who learned how to build explosive drones from scratch will use them for something else? Europe is about to experience a bloodbath like it has never seen before, and there will be no stopping it.
This is a direct threat to European security, painting Ukrainian refugees as criminals and terrorists while using fear-mongering tactics. The Kremlin has consistently pushed the narrative that supporting Ukraine will backfire on Europe, hoping to scare Western countries into cutting aid. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned for the next episode of Russian Hate Speech as we continue exposing the Kremlin's war on reality.